Hey up everyone, and welcome back. It's Monday, it's raining, and by we get to the end of the week, I have no idea what this video will have on it, because I've got a wiring harness and the correct valve springs and bits and pieces en route from Hitchcock's. I've got some stuff ordered for Frankenstein, and all in all I don't know what I'll be able to get done during the week. So what I'm going to do is just whatever crops up, and we'll get some sort of video for you for the weekend, because I don't want you to be too disappointed, you know. Life's disappointing enough as it is. Anyway, as I say, it's raining. Would you believe it? Friday night it's going to be 19 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about -7, I think, centigrade. So winter's here. Okay, what we are going to do for certain is put the chain guard on. Not exactly a major job, but it'll be something to watch. Also, got some more subscribers and stuff. And also, when I first mentioned this sprocket, the gearbox sprocket of the Enfield, which you may remember is not an ordinary one, it's got 6 blinds instead of 5. One of our viewers, Andreas, God, sorry, can't remember his second name, I should have looked it up before I came down to the workshop. He was the one who told me that it had the 6 blinds and what have you, and it was the M series gearbox, which I honestly didn't know. And he mentioned that he had a Chief and he'd made one of these sprockets. So he got in touch with me the other day, and he is going to make me a sprocket. I thought I was going to have to cut the teeth off and weld new teeth on, and also this is the dish one for the chain to go around the big fat wheel on the Chief. So one problem is solved there. He's going to make me one of these and harden it and everything, so that's great. Also had another subscriber who was wondering what the local environs were like, so I might make a couple of minutes video just to show you where it is where I live. Anyway, let's get on and put this in. Now here's a little tip for you. Put the chain guard on here. I needed 2 short 5/16 BSC bolts, and I didn't have any. So I could have sent off to the place I get mine from, and 2 things there. One, you've got to wait. Not that I feel stupid just ordering 2 little bolts. So what I always keep on hand are some stainless steel bolts of sort of different lengths with a shoulder, an unthreaded part. Now I use stainless steel because we're going to turn this into the bolt we need, and if you use one that's coated in any way, zinc plated, whatever, we'd be taking the plating off so they'd rust. So what I've done to get this one is, first thing, of course, the awkward thing about stainless steel bolts, just standard ones, is they're stamped at the top with what they are. So the first thing I do is put it in the lathe, or you could file it off. I just take them off and round it to make it a nice top, like thus. Then you see you've got this piece of bolt that doesn't have any thread on, but it's 5/16 or 3/8 or whatever you want. So I just cut that to the length I need, and then using the appropriate die I turn that into the appropriate bolt. And as I say, the reason I use stainless steel is because I can cut the new thread, I can work the top, and I know they're not going to rust. So there you go, just a minor thing. Never be stuck for an odd bolt. If you just keep to hand a few with a nice long unthreaded piece, you can make what you need. Now then, as you will see, I've taken the rear wheel out, because this is one of those things where you know, you can get 9/10 of it in and then something always catches. So there are 3 mounting points here. One on this tang on here, one on this tang down into there, which you've just seen in me making up the bolts, and this one here goes through there. So let's put that one on there first. He says, there we go. Most of these have slots rather than holes, so you can move it around a little to get everything lined up. Now come on, you got a nice new bolt and a hole I've just recut. There we go. So that's going to go in there like that. It's going to go in there like that. And then we're just going to use a nice new stainless steel mushroom cap, whatever they call it. For the simple bolt that goes through. There. There it goes. Damn. Here it comes. Put a washer on. And there it goes again. And then up on the back. There we go. Wash and a nut on the back. Okay. Now we'll tighten these up. Make sure that turns. Yes. Chain guards, of course, are notorious for being bent. So this is one of those things you really, when you take it off, check to see everything's right, because you don't want to be having to try and bend it again. I did, in the Gold Star I got the chain guard replated, and this was how I discovered that the plating place I used wasn't exactly brilliant. Because when I put it back on, it was just slightly out, you know what I mean, it was nothing for a big piece of tin. So I thought, let me just ease it. So I just went like that, and the so-called chrome plating cracked. Needless to say, I didn't use that place anymore. And that's why, as I mentioned about the handlebar levers, good chroming is expensive. So anyway, I'll finish tightening those up and I'll put the wheel in and I'll show you what it looks like. And there it is. Told you this red looked nice, didn't I? This bike's going to be smart. Okay, let's see what else we can do. It's Tuesday and it's snowing. So I was trying to think what to do, as I mentioned earlier. And I thought, seeing as the wiring harness was coming, I'd better have a look at the electrics. Now, it's got old 6-volt electrics. Don't forget, it's a 1955 bike. So I wanted to uprate them. So I wanted to go to 12 volt, and I'm not going to bother with having a rectifier and a Zener diode. I'm just going to get one of those nice little boxes that does everything. But what it came with was this alternator. As you can see, past its best, even if it was a 12 volt. So what I want to do is, I've got a couple of these, I'll sort out the best one, is I want to put one of the new encapsulated ones on and go straight to 12 volt like that. So I started to have a little look at it, and first thing you'll notice, oh, come off, is these two are different sizes in terms of the diameter where the 3 mounting holes go. So I'm going to have to do something there. The other is, this is slightly bigger. Boing. Now, I don't know if you can notice here, but that hole and that hole are a different size. But that hole and that hole are the same size. And what it is on this older one is, for half of it, it's the same diameter as ID as that. So this will slide straight on. But then for some reason, this end is slightly bigger to fit the holding nut in. And it's just too big to go in there. So what we're going to do is turn this down. Oh look, I've got dirty. Now to turn this down the lathe, I've got to hold it in that way, and of course if I just try and hold it on that, it's going to do that. So what I'm going to do, this is 3/8 British Standard cycle, so I've got a bolt and nut. We're going to screw that on there like this. Then I can put it in the chuck and have the chuck on both the bolt head and the nut, which will hold it nicely. And then of course the direction this is going, it's going to be tightening as the tool hits it. So I'll just do this off camera. Let me turn a little bit off that so it'll fit into there. Then we'll go over to the bike. So I've put the chain case on, and I put the sprocket and its nut on, so we're all right for the way it's going to be finally. Now you notice this has just got a bolt sticking out. It's not like say the BSAs where the rotor goes straight onto the shaft. There's actually a piece that goes on here. Got a couple of little flats. It goes on. The flats go in there, and it has a key. This thread, by the way, wasn't 3/8 BSC. It was 3/8 BSF. So I've no need to bother the key because we're not being that particular this time. We're just sizing things. So as I say, that actually goes on there. It was just this that was different. So we can now screw that on. And there's a washer goes on there, obviously. I want to screw this up so that everything is in place the way it should be, because we're going to measure up to make some spaces. Washers, washers, washers. The only one I've got is that one. Still doesn't go completely tight, so I'm assuming there's a thicker washer goes there. Alright, now as I say, the thing is when we put this on, to be about right with that, which is there, as you can see this is further out, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make a piece to step us out here the appropriate amount, which is about just under ½ inch, and step us over. Now I did think of making a complete ring, but that's going to be a little bit awkward because the ring would have to go around there and have pieces sticking out for each of these. So what I'm just going to do is make, as I say, a stepping piece that's going to come out. So what we're going to do is make a piece this width here that can be drilled for the bolt to bolt it on there, and then drilled and tapped here for the bolt that's going to hold the alternator on. So hold on 1 second while I go and get a parallel. I'm back. By the way, the whirring noise you can hear is my nice new gas heater. So that's going to go on there like this. The reason I brought the parallel so I can get it about like that. I would say that is actually 7/16, and it's going to be right into there. It's going to be just over an inch. So let's go and see what we can do about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a piece like that, or 3 pieces like that, and that will go in there. It will bolt to that, and it will bolt to this. Now it won't be flimsy because it's going to be near enough ½ inch thick. And what we're going to make it out of, I think it's the easiest thing because I don't actually have any block around, is I can cut that out of that. So we'll mill this to shape, a couple of drill holes. As I say, this one I'm going to tap for here, and so this one I'm going to tap for there, and this one will get bolted down into that. So let's have a look at that. So I cut myself a piece long enough to be able to have enough material to make the 3 pieces, and also have enough to go into there, and it was enough to go into the lathe to do each end. And then this end I just marked out with the shape and marked it for the 2 holes we're going to drill. So that's going to go into there. Like so. And then we'll just mill the sides till I'm right. Then we can drill 2 holes, and then we'll slice off 3 pieces. To move the camera around because it was in the way of the controls. So let's see what we can do. Okay, that's one side done. I guess it's not quite as tight as it would like to be in there, but let me carry on, do the rest, and then we'll come back. So there's the shape milled out. I can do the very last little bit on the sander when I've actually made the 3 pieces, just give them a little tool. So we've got our 2 holes to drill. As I say, the back one is just going to be a straight 5/16 for the bolt to go through, but this one I'm going to thread so that I can screw it through from this side. Now I've drilled my 2 holes and everything's to shape, so now I'm going to cut 3 pieces off 7/16 long. And I thought about holding it by the piece of stock here in the lathe and using the cut-off tool, but I thought that probably wouldn't work because it just come clanging round and round against the tool. So then I thought I'd use a slitting saw. So what I'm going to do is bring it down here, touch off, zero that, then we will go down the 7/16 and the thickness of the saw. So that comes to 483. I've got to get the little wheel for this because it's a bit tricky. And come on now, just enough. See, this isn't really the easiest way to do it like this. One. 483. And just out of interest, yeah, good. Right, let's see if I can do this without just thought I should have some way of holding this. Don't want it to disappear. Oh, come on. There we are, that's all I want. And there we go. So we're going to, you can see that hole is smaller, so that's the one that's going to be threaded, and that's the one that's going to screw onto the thing. So let me cut the other two off, and then I'll finish shaping them on the, what the hell do you call it, Michael? Come on, think about it. On the belt sander. So let me move down twice more and cut them off. So there's the three pieces I've made, and as you can see, one hole on each is tapped and the other one is countersunk because the stator is going to go flat onto there, so I couldn't have a bolt head sticking up. So what we're going to do is put these on, as I say, with countersunk. These are 5/16 BSF. And of course I only had two of these, so one I've just put a little piece that I had to cut off because these were long, just to centre things. So we screw them in. I'm not going to tighten these completely, and you'll see they move a little, and that's so I can get the stator set up right, because we need to have an air gap, an equal air gap all the way around, and it is important actually. I did, those of you who saw it, the C15S, I converted to 12 volt. It had the 6 volt energy transfer system on, which isn't brilliant. And the original rotor was really strong magnetically, so I kept it. I just put one of these encapsulated 12 volt ones on, and do you know what? I either got a weak spark or I didn't get any spark at all. And then when I thought I'd check the rotor, I actually found it was slightly smaller than the ones that go on these later stators. Changed the rotor and everything worked fine. So the reason for the green tape is, as I say, you've got to have a same air gap all the way around basically. You can put the rotor on and feeler gauges and so on. What I do is put tape on to build it up, and then when this goes on, it centres it. So we'll put that on like this. Then in will go three Allen bolts. We'll put washers on these and what have you, and the come on now. Oh. As I said, I'll be putting washers on these, and I haven't tightened up those because, as you see, I've got to set this up so that it fits right. And then the final thing will be to put those on with some Loctite. So there we go. There's our alternator mounted. and we're centered. It's a bit difficult to try and turn it. So everything can be tightened up like that, and then I can take the bits back off and have those fastened in. So there we go. We're converted from that great big old 6-volt stator to a nice new encapsulated 12-volt one. Okay, and I think that's going to be enough for this week. The stuff didn't arrive from Hitchcock's yet, but when that comes we'll have enough to put the wiring harness on, the headlight, barrels, pistons, heads, exhausts. We should have quite a good day. So, as I say, that's enough for today. Go off and enjoy yourselves. I thought I should maybe show you how I came to get the size for the pieces, because we can't really measure the diameter here very easily. So what I've done is I put a couple of little bolts in. You could turn these to points if you wanted. I'll just put a little dot in the center. Then with a pair of dividers I find that distance. Now this is going to be an equilateral triangle, so what I can do then is this. Well, you can see this. Let's get a bit more light. Hold on a second. There, that's better. So I then transfer that distance onto here, and with a pair of compasses then I mark out an equilateral triangle. Then you measure halfway along each line, join the points to the halfway point on the opposite line, and you find the center. So I made one, found the diameter there, and then another one, and overlaid the two, and that gave me where the two bolt holes were going to be. And then, as you can see, that's where I cut out my little piece. Okay, probably other ways to do it, but that's the extent of my geometry for one thing. But that makes it come out nice and accurately, without, as I say, trying to judge between a bolt hole here and the center, which might be in, or it might be, you know, as in this case, a bolt that's sticking out. So you can't really get there very accurately.